Welcome back to Analytical Strategy. Today, we are going to be talking about a range of moves that didn't make it to air in Survivor. As I've spoken about in previous videos, Survivor has set episode length times, which mean we only get to see a fragment of the gameplay associated with any given season. This gives the audience a really high-level overview of the game, and the key moments which happen in each season, but it doesn't display the full picture of each move and the storyline of each individual castaway. Due to this, it is inevitable that some moves do not make the edit, due to these time constraints and the way production requires to tell the story about certain individuals based on the outcome of the season. I would like to discuss some moves I have read across a range of seasons that didn't make it to air, some of which are quite surprising due to how big of a move they were. In saying this, I have just read these on forums or heard them on podcasts, so I do believe each of these incidents to be correct and legitimate, but as we didn't see it on TV, I cannot say that with 100% confidence. Nevertheless, let's get into these crazy moves that didn't make the show. So within Survivor Winners at War, Tony played to me the best individual game we have ever seen to date. But due to the edit, there was so much more that he did that didn't make the cut. And once I heard him talk about all these additional moves that he made, it just enhanced how strong of a game he actually played. Firstly, Tony deliberately never made eye contact with anyone even if he was lying to them. He did this so it was a behavioural pattern that other contestants couldn't pick up on, as if he consistently looked them in the eye when he was lying or telling the truth, it is more likely they were able to pick up on the tells of him. Along the same lines, he always tried to stand below people when they were speaking to him, to try and give them the appearance of authority over him, which is something that he learnt and studied within the police force. So in addition was the way that Tony searched for hidden immunity idols. He always took crab traps with him when he was searching for the idol, so when people came up to him, he could always have an excuse that he was just searching for crabs and not looking for the hidden immunity idol. Also in the edit, it portrayed as though Tony was on house arrest in the early stages of the game, and he was locked to the campsite, but this was just during the day. Tony did all of his damage at night. He created fires at night when searching for idols, so areas were lit up for him to see. He really did so much that unfortunately did not make the edit, which is reason 2436 why the Edge of Extinction should never ever return to the game. So up next we have one that I particularly enjoyed when I heard about this, and that is a very impressive move by young Will in Survivor Millennials vs Gen X. At Tribal, when Will went to vote out Zeke, he knew Adam, a super duper fan, was watching him really closely to see if Will would vote for Hannah. Adam was trying to see how many letters Will was writing on his parchment. So after Will wrote down the 4 letters within Zeke's name, he then continued to write the letters A-H in the air above the parchment to look as though he was voting for Hannah. This triggered Adam to believe that Will did in fact vote for Hannah and made him play his idol on her, which he didn't require to do at this vote. It was a really clever move by the young buck which didn't make the edit. So up next we're going to be talking about a move that happened in Survivor Ghost Island and regarded the vote out of the fantastic character Bradley. The edit really highlighted the annoying side of Bradley rather than the strategic components of his game, and due to this edit a crucial piece of information was left out about how Bradley actually was voted out of the game. Apparently, Chelsea and Dom threw the challenge to get rid of Bradley prior to the merge, and this was in order to reel in Callan's vote. The edit really highlighted that Dom and Wendell were a power duo from the get-go, and whilst this may have been true, it is really difficult to say with certainty. I've heard and read that the original power 3 within that tribe was actually Wendell, Callan and Bradley, with Dom also in that alliance, but to his perception he was on the bottom. Although Dom knew he was on the bottom of that group, he really didn't have much say as Chris wanted him out from the get-go, so he really had to stick with that core 3. Dom was also in a solid alliance with Chelsea as well, so it really made sense for both of them to take out Bradley, as this allowed Dom to create this tighter bond with Wendell and Callan, but it also allowed Chelsea to form closer bonds with the girls of Callan, Angela and Desiree. This allowed this core group to stay strong and stick together and in turn result in better longevity for both Dom and Chelsea. I feel like there would probably be quite a few thrown challenges in Survivor that don't make the edit, but they probably only make the air when the overarching plan or theme of why that tribe has thrown the challenge does not work out. So up next is one of my favourite moves in terms of pre-planned strategy, and that is the winner of Survivor Guatemala, Dani Boatwright, and how she did not let production in on any of her plans really at all, and practically played her entire game off camera. Dani realised that through confessionals, production would often probe questions regarding what other players had said in their confessionals, and through this she was able to infer information about other castaways. Dani would dance around the questions production asked her in order to hide her overarching strategy from them, in the case they used this information against her either in other contestants for confessionals or via questions via Jeff at Tribal Council. Dani also tried to do the majority of her strategy whilst the cameras were not on her. She really wanted to keep her gameplay close to her chest, and didn't want to divulge any unnecessary information. It was extremely smart play, and probably the only move on this list that didn't make the edit purely because it couldn't have, because Dani didn't give them the opportunity to do so. Absolutely genius. So next we have one move that I really wish made the edit, with this interaction between Sarah and Brad within Survivor Game Changers. From what I've heard, Sarah's edit could have been one of the most villainous of all time in this season, and I really wish it was, as there was a lot of fantastic moves Sarah made that didn't make the final edit. So one move in particular that stood out to me was when Sarah and Brad made a commitment to each other to swap two things that meant a lot to them to guarantee that they would take each other to the final three, and that was Brad's wedding ring and Sarah's bracelet. Now the key difference between the two was one was Brad's wedding ring, and this meant a lot to Brad obviously, and the other was meaningless to Sarah, that she claimed she supposedly got within her first season of Cagayan, but really it meant nothing to her. Sarah told Brad she would throw his wedding ring in the ocean if he didn't live up to his agreement to take her to the final three. This is the type of footage people would love to see, and to me, only makes Sarah a better winner than she already was. I love the cutthroat mentality, and I wish we got to see more of this from Sarah within Survivor Game Changers, because she really did play a brilliant game. So up next we have a move that was actually extremely interesting that it did not make the final edit, as it was a game-changing move that we see every second season in Modern Survivor. When we think of the first ever fake hidden immunity idol ever, we go all the way back to Fiji and the beloved Yao Man, who made the fake idol with II for immunity idol on it, just in case people weren't sure if it was an idol or not. Whilst this was the first fake idol that made it to the air, it was really Austin from Panama that made the first fake hidden immunity idol, but it never made it to air as it wasn't relevant to the show, and he did not show any of his castmates. So if you were ever asked who made the first fake idol, make sure to clarify if they mean the first fake idol to make it to air or not, because they are in fact two different people. So speaking of fake hidden immunity idols, another move that did not make it to the air was apparently a key cog within Russell and Jerry's relationship in Survivor Heroes vs Villains, and that was Russell gave Jerry a fake hidden immunity idol to keep her more loyal to his game. Apparently we never saw this make the cut, as Jerry never felt the need to play it, but interestingly was also a key component of Jerry and Russell's relationship, and therefore a key cog in the storyline of this season. So this one I think again just comes down to the episode lengths overall, especially in these returnee seasons like Heroes vs Villains or Winners at War. We really do miss out on a lot of great content. So finally, it is a member of the Winners at War cast, but in her original season, and that is the wonderful Natalie Anderson. Apparently Natalie sobbed on the beach after the Alec vote because she pretended to feel so bad for ruining her alliance's plans. One of Natalie's biggest moves in Survivor San Juan del Sur was turning on John and voting out Alec over Keith to ensure John had less of a chance winning immunity at the next immunity challenge. She was able to play this off as an accident, that no one told her the plan correctly or gave her enough information, which caused her to vote out Alec instead, and the castaways boarded hook, line and sinker as we saw in the show. What wasn't shown was how Natalie appeared to the rest of her cast, to be absolutely devastated for ruining their plans. I've heard she sobbed on the beach for a few hours up until a full day, and really played the part of messing up to perfection, which really just adds to why they bought her story so much and so easily. A tremendous move by a tremendous winner, and again, another move I wish we got to see more of to enhance the storyline of the winner. And there you have it, a range of wonderful moves that did not make the edit. Do you know of any that I didn't mention? Please let me know in the comments. As always, I greatly appreciate you watching and supporting the channel. And for that continued support, please hit that subscribe button if you have not already to stay tuned for more Survivor content in the future. This is Analytical Strategy, and we are signing out once again. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.